Bradley, it's great to be here with you today.
Thanks.
Can you tell us what your character was like as Richie DiMasso in American Hustle?
He's a man who wants to be where he's not, which is a dangerous place for a strong young male to be mentally, because he can cause a lot of damage. And he doesn't like that he lives at home and lives under this rock, and he's in the Bureau of Investigation, but he has no power, and he has all these ideas. He has aspirations to have a grander scheme in his own life, and then he meets, and then all of a sudden he sees these sort of shiny objects, these con artists that are so good at what they do, and they dress different than he is, and they look like their life is sexy, and so he just kind of wants to become them.
Also, can you let us know what your relationship was like with Amy Adams?
He was trying to show off for her. He's trying to tell her, like, look what I did. I set this thing up to try to torture you. You know what I mean? Like, it was my idea. Like, he wants her to know that it's like him. Like, he's controlling this whole thing. That's his other thing. He wants you to know that, like, I did this, which is that's a pretty problematic place to be if you're constantly wanting that affirmation for people to know that you're making these decisions. But no, his love for her is pure. That is not a manipulation when he says, I like you. I mean, he really is like a kid. He's like, so I'm not supposed to say this, but I like you.
Can you let us know what it was like to work with the famous director, David Russell?
He wrote a very specific script, very strict guidelines, and then he rewrites stuff on the day but everything is very relative to what's relevant to the story he wants to tell. So it's not sort of this like, yeah, let's do this and let's try this. No, it just happens to be happening in the moment. He's making these decisions now, and then he wants you to respond now and be able to dive in now. So it's almost as if everything is happening in the very moment that we're doing it.
Also, can you let us know what your relationship was like with Amy Adams?
Amy is incredible, and our stuff is sick. In terms of like the experience, it was just so easy. It was very easy with her. It all flowed. There's very few scenes that Richie and Sidney have together to create this whole relationship in terms of how much space in the movie they have. And I think we were able to really pack in a lot of information for the audience in these short scenes, and that's because it was so easy for us to work together.
Can you let us know what it was like to work with Christian Bale?
With Christian, I was just sort of so amazed that I was standing with this man that I love as an actor in movies in the same room with him, as Richie DiMasso and he as Irving Rosenfeld. I loved when we got to just get into it. It was kind of wonderful.
And lastly, Bradley, what do you think the audience will take away from this film?
And hopefully they'll enjoy the magical moments of the movie. That's what I enjoy. The singing of Delilah, the nail polish scene into the Studio 54. I love that whole section of the movie. Is very special. Seeing Richie at home in his element eating chicken on the toilet in the bathroom. You don't really see that. Seeing the home life of Irving and Rosalind, seeing that scene with Rosalind and Jack Houston, when she says change, I don't like change is hard for me. That moment is just incredible.
Okay, well, it was so nice of you to take the time to be with us here today, and thanks again for coming out, Bradley. Great seeing you again. Hi, Jennifer. It's so good to be here with you today. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us. We really appreciate it. Can you tell me what kept you two together? What kept the couple together in such a crazy relationship?
She has a son, and he married her trying to do the right thing, and he's always, which is weird to say about a con man, but is always, personally, on a very personal level, trying to do the right thing, and she is convinced that divorce is morally wrong. So I think she's pulling at his heartstrings.
And can you let us know what the characters are trying to accomplish in this film?
I think these characters are all trying to accomplish their own happy ending. They're all trying to be their better selves, if that's have a better life, and that's through this person suffering. Sorry, collateral damage. Yeah, I think everybody's just trying to make it through and to survive and to have their happy ending.
What is your favorite scene in the film?
The bedroom scene with Christian after when he comes in from meeting my boyfriend. It was so funny because a lot of it was written and we came up with it kind of in the moment or like right on set, because just the idea that like when Christian said, well, I would say this, I had such a really great, amazing, fun character, right? I could say, well, Rosalind would say this, and it was just so insane.
And what was your favorite line?
My favorite line was, "Why can't you just be happy for me?" when she's talking about moving to Miami with this mafia guy with her son, with his son too. Because that just basically says everything about Rosalind that you need to know, that she really just does not get it.
Can you tell us what it was like to work with director David Russell?
It's kind of the most incredible experience. Like I wish that working with David O. Russell was something kind of like everybody got to do before they died. He is. I have him to thank for everything, for my career and for also teaching me so much about myself. And working with him is just like working in the most raw, creative, exciting way. It's not like a normal movie where you're repeating the same thing over and over and over again, and everything is kind of based around the cameras. Like we start performing, and then he just throws in the cameras wherever they can fit, and it's so spontaneous. There's never a boring moment on set.
What do you think the audiences are going to enjoy the most about the film?
There were times, I think that we all, Cooper and David were both saying that, like, I guess we're not crazy. Like when it came out and people were responding the way that they were, and I felt the same way. It's like we watch it and we're like, is this okay? Like, because we've never seen anything like it. So I guess it's just unpredictable and weird and beautiful and funny. It's so funny, but very emotional.
And again, what does it mean to hustle?
Well, it's trickery, but not trickery. It's kind of winning in a very creative, tricky way.
And thanks again, Jen, for joining us here today. We really, appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. Thanks again. It was great to see you.